Carrie.
Patel. Shah.
Babu, howdy.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Shah Jahani Biryani. It's named after the Mughal emperor who built the Taj Mahal. He was also a renowned glutton.
He tends to be a show-off when it comes to beautiful women.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Or yeah, by Sikandari Ran, roast leg of lamb, and chicken. Hara Bhara. And this is my speciality, ande ki Bhurji.
What's that?
Scrambled egg?
Scrambled eggs.
This is going to be a long day. Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to Indian Kitchen Abroad. I came across this movie Today's Special and thought that this might be a very good menu for a dinner party. So here I am recreating those dishes. We are making everything you have seen and heard in that clip. Shah Jahani Biryani, roast leg of lamb, chicken Hara Bhara, and ande ki Bhurji, scrambled eggs. Let's start with the one that's going to take more time, leg of lamb. If you look at this leg, it's not a clean cut at the joint here. That is because I did some butchery on this and I did a horrible job. For cleaner looking presentation, trim down the shank. Remove the tendon and cut around the shank bone. If there are any stamps, remove that outer layer of meat, and it's also important to remove the top layer of fat, which is called as fell. It tends to be chewy and tough. Remove any excess fat if you want to. There is a big debate on whether to remove the fat or not on a big piece of meat like this, but I'm keeping a thin layer of fat and removing most of it. And wherever there is fat, lightly score the meat. I kind of went too deep with the cuts here, don't do that. Also check for any silver skin or connected tissue and remove it, even that tends to be chewy and tough. So basically you have to clean up this whole leg. You can ask your butcher to do this for you. He or she will be happy to do it for you. Why didn't I ask my butcher to do this? Because I'm stupid. Of course they're going to charge you extra for that cleaning up. Now this piece of meat weighs around 5 to 6 pounds or around 3 kilograms. Now once you're done with that cleaning up, let's prepare some ingredients for dressing up the lamb. I'm using mint and garlic as kind of main ingredients for this. We are going to poke some holes in the lamb and stuff with this mint and garlic. This gives nice flavor to the meat from inside. Now cut the garlic into slivers and pick the mint leaves. Mint goes really well with lamb. It's like a match made in heaven. It's pretty old combination and works really well. Now for other flavorings, I'm going to make coriander and mustard seed dressing to rub outside of the lamb. Now start with the juice of lime or a lemon, about a tablespoon of freshly ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons of ginger powder. That was a close call. 1.5 tablespoons of crushed coriander seeds, 1.5 tablespoons of yellow mustard seeds. They add some spice to the lamb. If you don't have mustard seeds, you can use mustard paste. A teaspoon of fennel powder, a teaspoon of cumin powder, 2 teaspoons of Garam Masala, red chili powder, it's optional, about 1/4 cup of any neutral oil. I'm using vegetable oil. You may have to adjust the quantities depending on the size of your lamb. Also note that we did not add salt to this. Give this a good mix and the consistency of this should be rubbable. I don't even know if that's a word. Turns out it's not a word. Well, you know what I mean. It should be more like a paste. Also slice the onions in order to catch the fat drippings while the lamb is roasting. Now place the onions in a roasting pan with a wire rack in which you are going to roast your lamb. The fat drippings from the lamb will be absorbed by these onions and give some flavor to the sauce we are going to make at the end. Now poke some holes in the lamb with a knife about an inch deep and stuff with mint leaves rolled around 1 or 2 garlic slivers. Do this randomly around the leg about 1 or 2 inches apart from each hole. Rub the marinade all over the leg. Don't miss the crevices and the cuts we made. Turn it around and rub it all over. Now the salt. It's difficult to estimate the amount of salt for a big piece of meat like this. So don't add salt to the marinade. Add salt directly on the meat. You should see salt all around the lamb and do the other side as well, and don't forget the crevices. We're going to roast this low and slow. This goes into 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius preheated oven for about 2.5 hours. 20 to 25 minutes for each pound. Cover with a piece of aluminum foil and also add a cup of chicken stock or whatever stock you have in the roasting pan. This stock helps in keeping everything nice and moist. Now while that is roasting, let's talk about chicken Hara Bhara. In the movie, Akbar appears to be serving roast chicken, so we are going to work with the whole chicken here. I'm going to dry brine the chicken. We have done this before, I'm just going to skim through the process again. Remove the spine of bird using kitchen shears and press on the breastbone to make the bird lay flat. This is called as spatchcocking. You can make stock with the spine, don't throw it away. Pat the bird dry with some paper towels and place it on a baking sheet with wire rack. As you may already know, salt pulls out moisture out of vegetables or any meat. By rubbing salt all over this chicken and letting it dry, pulls out the moisture out of the outer layer and results in crispy exterior after roasting. That's exactly what I'm doing here. Add salt to cover the whole chicken and place it in a fridge uncovered for 2 to 3 hours or even overnight if you have time. Now this goes into fridge for 2 to 3 hours, which gives us just enough time to make the Shah Jahani Biryani. If you want to know one thing about biryani, it's this. Every biryani starts with browning the onions. Now slice the onions and fry them in enough oil until they turn brown. Don't burn them. If you burn them, your biryani is going to be terrible. Remove the onions right before they get the desired brown color. Even after removing, they undergo carryover cooking because of the hot oil. Remove and place them on a paper towel to soak up the extra oil. Now these are the brown onions made out of 2 onions. They shrink a lot. Now usually Shah Jahani Biryani is made with lamb or goat. I'm using boneless lamb cut into 1-inch cubes. This is about 1.5 pound or 700 grams of boneless lamb. The second thing about biryani is marination. Usually yogurt based marination. Now first let's start with the browned onions. Mint leaves, just stir them roughly. Fresh coriander leaves, green chilies according to your taste. I'm just chopping them roughly. If you blitz them up, it's going to be more spicy and all your guests may not be able to handle it. About a cup of yogurt. Then goes the salt, about a tablespoon. Red chili powder according to your taste. 2 tablespoons of coriander powder. 1 teaspoon of cumin powder. 1 tablespoon of garam masala. Juice of half a lemon or lime. 1 teaspoon of whole cloves. 2 Star-Anise pods. 1 cinnamon stick. Black cumin, black pepper and fennel powder. Usually I'm against whole spices in a biryani, but we are dealing with an age-old recipe here, so I'm keeping them whole. Also add about 2 tablespoons of oil, same oil we used to fry the onions. Now give it a good mix and set it aside for 1 hour or more if you have time. Overnight is even better. Now in the meantime, let's do the dry brining on the chicken one more time. You can clearly see moisture on the chicken here. That is because of the salt. Pat that part dry again and sprinkle some salt on the chicken again. And this goes into the fridge until it's ready to roast. Alright, all we did until now is just prepping everything. You can do all of this a night before your dinner party if you're a pre-planner. Just don't put lamb in the oven. But I did not do this the night before because I have to change the video setup again. I have to get in that video mode again. It's more work and takes more time for me. I can assure you that this will be just as good even if you do all of this on the same day. And needless to say, we are dealing with raw meat here. Wash your hands frequently and disinfect the whole working area frequently. With everything going on right now, wash your hands frequently and stay safe. Now let's start the actual cooking with biryani. I'm using the same pan I used for frying the onions. There is some oil in this already. Just add the marinated lamb and cook this until the lamb is almost done for about 20 to 30 minutes based on the size of your lamb pieces. Just take a piece and check. My timings may not work for you. It depends on the intensity of your heat and a million other things. So check for the doneness, check for the taste, and add some salt or anything else according to your taste. A recipe should be just a starting point for you. Customize it according to your taste. Keep an eye on the roast leg of lamb. Add some stock or water once in a while if necessary. Now I'm going to cook this boneless lamb in the background while I cook rice for biryani. I'm adding some whole spices wrapped in a cheesecloth, cumin seeds and the main ingredient, salt. Now taste the water. Water should be more saltier than what you would usually think. But just don't go crazy. I'm using about 3 cups of rice and I'm cooking this using draining method. Cook the rice until it's 90% done and drain the water. Ratio of water and rice doesn't matter here. Just make sure the quantity of water is at least 3 times the quantity of rice. Add a dash of lime juice. This prevents the rice from sticking, and also about a teaspoon of oil. Give it a good mix and taste it. Taste for the salt. If the salt is not right, your biryani will not taste good. Cook until the rice is 90% cooked. Drain the water and save about a cup of that water. This leg of lamb has been roasting for about 3 hours. It's nice and juicy and it's about done. Now crank up the temperature of your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 220 degrees Celsius and put it back in the oven uncovered for another 30 minutes. This boneless lamb for biryani is also almost done. Add some cashew nuts, almonds and raisins. I don't care for raisins in biryani, but you can clearly see raisins in the biryani from that clip. Since we are recreating, I've got to go with accuracy. Now once lamb is almost done, it's time to layer the rice. If you don't know, biryani is a layered dish. Add some mint and coriander leaves, give it a quick stir, add a thin layer of 90% cooked rice. This is the rice I just cooked. I drained the water and saved some of it. Now for the next layer, add the browned onions, some ghee or softened butter, mint and coriander leaves, Spread all this into thin layer, and the next layer is rice again. Continue this layering until all the rice is used or until the vessel you're cooking cannot handle it. You need a thick bottomed pan for biryani. You don't want a tall vessel for this. If you add too many layers of rice, the plain rice will be too much and the masala in the bottom may not be enough. It's important to get that ratio right. Now for this recipe I'm using 1.5 pound or 700 grams of boneless lamb and 3 cups of rice. I think this is a good ratio to follow, and this will be enough for 5 to 6 people. Now for the top layer you can add more ghee or butter, cashew nuts, few mint leaves, saffron soaked milk, just few saffron strands soaked in milk for 10 minutes. You can add this in between layers as well. This gives nice saffron color for few grains of rice here and there, and of course flavor. More browned onions, add some water in which the rice was cooked, few raisins, a tablespoon of kevra water and rose water. You can make a dough and seal the lid if you want. But if you have a tight lid, just cover the vessel with aluminum foil and put the lid on. Ideally you should add some weight and heat on the top, but I'm just going to put this in the oven, 300 degrees Fahrenheit oven for 20 to 25 minutes. If you are going to cook this on a stove top, cook this on low to medium heat for about 15 to 20 minutes. You have to be careful with the heat in this case. Keep an eye on this and also keep a nostril on that burnt smell, and the leg of lamb is done. If you are unsure of the doneness of this lamb, use a meat thermometer. These are the temperatures you need to hit. Now transfer this onto a plate and let this rest for 20 to 30 minutes. It's very important to rest this. During this resting stage, juices inside the lamb redistribute and results in juicy meat. Now push all the drippings and onions through a strainer. We are going to make a nice sauce out of this. Onto a stove top, add about a tablespoon of flour and whisk until the flour is cooked. You don't want any lumps in there, whisk it nice. Add some chicken stock as necessary, or you can add any red wine if you are into that. Add some lime juice or vinegar according to your taste for some acidity, which is very important in this. When this sauce coats back of a spoon, take it off the heat. It should have nice, shiny, glossy texture like this. If there are any lumps, pass this through a strainer. And that's it. A simple sauce for the lamb is ready. While the lamb is resting, let's take care of this chicken Hara Bhara, which literally translates to green chicken. Main ingredients for this are coriander leaves and green chilies. Blend some fresh coriander leaves, green chilies according to your taste, juice of 1 lime or lemon, and add this green mixture into a bowl with about half a stick of softened butter. Based on size of your bird, you may have to change the quantities. Mix all that butter with green mixture, and I'm adding delicate yet flavorful spices into this. 1.5 teaspoon of fennel powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, 1 tablespoon of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder, 1 teaspoon of garam masala. And that's it, no salt. Mix all of this thoroughly, and we are going to stuff this between the skin and meat of the chicken. Now this chicken has been dry brining from the past 3 hours. Pat that bird dry, season inside of the bird with some salt. Separate the skin and meat to stuff that green mixture we made. Find that membrane between the meat and skin and just separate. It's not difficult at all. Spoon some of that green mixture and spread all of it inside from the outside. We have done this before. I'll link that video in the description box if you want to check it out. Now pat that bird dry and rub some oil and salt on the outside. Don't add too much salt. Just few sprinkles here and there. The dry brining we did add some salt to the chicken. Now this goes into 450 degrees Fahrenheit or 230 degrees Celsius preheated oven for 45 to 50 minutes depending on the size of your bird. The internal temperature of the bird should reach about 165 degrees Fahrenheit or more. Place it in the oven with thighs going inside. This way more heat touches the thighs and cooks evenly. While the chicken is roasting, we can make our final dish, Ande ki Bhurji, scrambled eggs, for which you need few onions, green chilies according to your taste, 1 tomato and about an inch of ginger. Heat a tablespoon of oil, add a teaspoon of mustard seeds. When they start dancing around, add a teaspoon of cumin seeds and then goes the onions. Saute until the onions become translucent. Then goes a very important ingredient, curry leaves, a whole sprig. Now saute the green chilies and ginger for a couple of minutes. Then goes the spices, a teaspoon of turmeric powder, coriander powder, a teaspoon of garam masala, and finally add the chopped tomatoes. And we are not cooking the tomatoes completely here. We are not making a curry. Saute them on high heat just for a minute. Then turn down the heat and add the eggs. You can whisk the eggs in a separate bowl and then add them here. If you want to do that, you can do that. One less bowl to wash if you do it this way. If you're doing it this way, kill the heat completely. Whisk the eggs until there is no visible whites and then turn on the heat. It's going to cook very fast. Don't go anywhere. Keep whisking on medium heat until how dry or how moist you want the eggs. When it reaches your desired consistency, add salt according to your taste. Just taste and add the salt. And finally finish it off with some fresh coriander leaves. And the chicken is also done. Resting is important for any meat after roasting. Rest this for at least 20 minutes. This resting time helps in redistributing the juices inside the meat. This biryani is also done and has been resting from a while. It's time to open up and plate it up. Now I don't know if this is a real Shah Jahani Biryani. It's like a recipe from 1600s. I've tried finding a real recipe for this, but I came out with nothing. My only hope is to find a similar recipe from this book. Unfortunately, that book is not available in US yet. Apparently this book is in pen libraries. I've tried contacting few people there, but even that did not work out. So this recipe is based on my imagination, my knowledge on Mughal food, and also based on the clip from the movie. So when I get my hands on this book, I'll update you with the real recipe, if you are interested in that, and if that book has this recipe. Now from the clip you can clearly see that the biryani was garnished with edible silver, so we have got to do the same. And egg bhurji, nothing much here, just top it off with some fresh coriander leaves. We have carved a chicken before, I'm not going to waste your time with that. Check the link in the description box for that if you are interested. This leg of lamb has also been resting from a while, and don't forget the sauce we made. That is it. Now all I need is people to eat this food. I thought this might be too much food, but everything was gone except egg bhurji. Well, you know.
Egg bhurji is different.
Yeah.
When you have lamb and chicken,
I can safely say that everything was really good. This biryani may not be a real Shah Jahani biryani, but it was a damn good biryani.
What?
Lamb was also really good, not overcooked at all, nice and juicy. If you want to prepare this meal for your next party, I'll leave all the ingredients and the times I followed in the description box below or at the website. Make this. Your guests will be impressed. Everything was pretty much gone here. And here is a bonus clip for you.
You know, the Shah of Iran visited India once, and he was heard to remark that eating with a utensil is like making love through an interpreter. Mm.